Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV. Welcome back to our Meridian, Idaho location today. Taking a look at a Western-built North Trail, the 22 FBS. This is a really good option for someone who's looking for solo or couples camping with like a larger class SUV or like a half-ton or equivalent kind of vehicle right here. And what's kind of cool about this one, the best way I can describe it is they made it bigger without making it bigger. And what I mean by that is they included the refrigerator in the slide out, and that opens up the floor space in here dramatically, and it gives it a huge living room feel without actually being any larger overall. Because it already had a slide, it doesn't even really ding the weight. It just increases the interior space of the RV. You do give up a side window next to the sofa to accomplish that, or the dinette in this case, but I'm okay with that because the space you get in this thing is fantastic. Now, if you look at that dinette, it looks like a 1980s, dance floor checkerboard. That's because those cushions are reversible. You can have a dark skin or a light skin on that dinette seating, whichever you please. You could also pop that table out to use it like a lounge. Up front, you got a 72 by 80 king bed, thankfully with a pair of privacy curtains, so you're not exclusively putting on a free show for the neighbors, as it were. Wide stance stability axles, a fairly lightweight, also help make this thing respectably towable. The other thing there too is it's only 7,500 pounds maximum GVW with over close to 2,200 pounds of cargo weight. So you have plenty of available cargo capacity. The frame is not being stressed all the time, and in my experience, that tends to be a recipe for something that stays out of the shop better than something that is basically almost carrying its maximum weight all the time. There's other good things about this one. I've noticed a couple of things that you might not like as well, and I'm going to try to share good, bad, ugly, and everything in between as we go. So if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's get in there. So as we go here today, I'm going to try to point out, like I said, positives, negatives, something in between, maybe just points of consideration. Let me know what you think about it as we go. Now, what I mean by they made it bigger without making it bigger. If you look over here, a lot of manufacturers, they'll have a sofa or dinette slide on a floor plan like this, and then a refrigerator next to it. But here they actually included the refrigerator in the slide. And as a result, I don't even know if it's properly translating to camera. The wide open spaces that you get as a result, it makes this small RV look and feel big. And this is actually a really good opportunity to point out the fact they're very good about not doing floor vents where they can get away with it. Now, there's benefits to floor ducted heating. It keeps the floor warmer. It heats the RV more effectively and more evenly. But if you're not going to cold camp, you don't really get a lot of the benefit of those benefits. So cabinet ducted heating tends to work out better for quite a few people. It's not a guarantee across the board. It's just different things. What do you think of the color palette, by the way? I kind of like it. That's just me personally, but I'll also tell you I'm not a HGTV home decor expert by any stretch of the imagination, If I recall correctly, you could option some sort of sofa instead of the dinette over there. I could be mistaken on that, but I think that's something I would personally probably like to do. This is a Western-built model that we're in, though, and sometimes people camp a little bit differently regionally. In the Midwest, where I'm from, sofa first has really become the predominant thing. In other areas of the country, having a dinette is actually still kind of preferable, whether it's for extra sleeping, having a place to sit down and play cards, or all kinds of things. Now, this is a pretty conventional knee knocker, pedestal post style of seating situation right here, but it is also what I refer to as a true U dinette, where it is like 7 foot wide. It's not the deepest dinette I've ever seen, but that also means that it doesn't stick out of the slide out like a lot of, dinettes tend to do. Now, one of the things here, you might notice the white-black kind of color accents on the cushions. Well, taking a deeper look at that, what's interesting here is those are actually like reversible. Now, obviously, that dinette can fold down into a sleeper, and there is storage all the way below it. But what's kind of cool is if you prefer a more lighter, open look of things, you can do that. If you prefer a darker kind of thing, like maybe you're going to have like a grandkid over and you don't want them spilling something on your cushions that could stain, It's nice to be able to flick the dark side over. It's also nice that they give you two different decor options without making you have to wait to custom order the other decor that you would prefer. I actually think this is really, really smart content and execution on this RV right here. Or you can 1980s checkerboard it. You know what's funny? When we think of the 80s, we often think of neon colors and checkerboard. But what I remember from the 80s is everything was freaking brown. McDonald's was brown. McDonald's had ashtrays, dude. Oh, things have changed, you know? The bowling alley smelled like a tobacco outlet, you know? So above the bed and here above the dinette, you see the storage with the hidden hinges. This is pocket screwed lumbercore cabinetry. It is also gravity close. You'll find the same thing once again above the bed there. I will say, the lighting package in this is intelligently done, because if you look around, the lights are not just like in a straight line. They look sort of all over the place, but it's because they sort of said, okay, what lights do we need where to kind of lighten and brighten everything up evenly? So, I respect that. That makes sense to me. One of the calling cards of North Trail up here is that it is a 72 by 80 RV king bed. I'll throw the RV king bed in there because if you go get a traditional residential king, it's not going to fit exactly. They're going to be a little bit wider than this one. Down below it, they call it their quick store bed space. Basically, it's Foot Locker storage. It's not gas strut easy lift, but it's also pretty small, so it's not terribly hard to get in there. I do still prefer gas strutted, don't get me wrong. You've got a nice little flip-flop crock shop going on down below it. I'm wondering if you got a small dog or something, though, that could be a nice little, doggy den, something like that. I don't know if we want to call this a walk-around bed either, just because your side stands they have a huge front pass-through, and that causes the side stands to be rather invasive. You see that you do have household outlets on both sides. You also have USB plugs up by the headboard, which is really smart locations for them. These household outlets, you see that little white sticker. As you're looking around the RV as we go today, keep an eye out for that sticker next to outlets. Like, keep an eye in the bottom right corner of the screen right about meow, and you see that household outlet down there, which is a really smart location for it, first of all. That is inverter prep. That sticker is indicating that it's an inverter prep thing. You might notice the split curtains on either side wall right now with that little silver track above. Some manufacturers who make an open concept and design like this don't do any privacy. Some manufacturers do. Some people like the privacy, some people don't. I don't mind an open concept design because to me, mentally, the way that I process and justify it, it's really no different than something like, say, a hotel room where you're just kind of sleeping in open air. But not everybody sees it that way. That's okay. It's not that you're wrong and I'm right. That's not it at all. Let me park my butt over here at the theater seat. Obviously, you see how that TV can pivot. So if you wanted to kind of face the bed at night, you can. It's never a perfect angle from anything. I think you might be able to watch a little bit of TV from the toilet. But I think a lot of people also agree that's pretty much what your cell phone is for. There's also an equal number of people right now going, that's gross. There are two types of people out there. The people who watch, who use their phones on the toilet, and the people who think that's gross. And I don't know that they know the other type of person exists, and that's what we learned today. Ooh, smart location, that converter fuse box. Right down there by the fire extinguisher, you see that big black box? That's your fuse panel. Having that right over there by the door, God forbid you pop a fuse. It's the easiest, quickest place to access it, That's an air fryer oven. I'll get you a good look at that open in just a second here, actually. Where was I? Okay, there we go. Sorry. Let me get you looking up under the kitchen cabinets on the right-hand side. If you look closely, you can see in the upper right corner of the screen, there is another set of household outlets up in that area. So they do kind of give you, left-right justified kitchen outlets, which is, I think, a smart way to go. This is a big stainless farm sink. They do the dish drying rack. It doesn't fully cover the sink, which I don't love, but I don't know. That's nitpicky. That's stupid, like just me being looking for trouble with mapping glasses, But I just try to point out stuff for people to think about. Cracking open all the kitchen storage here, giving you a look around everything. There is a very decent, respectable amount of storage here in the kitchen, and actually kind of a couple different places you could put a wastebasket, which is something that I'm always looking for in an RV that a lot of manufacturers fail to consider. You could put one potentially right under the sink, Also, right next to the door, I don't know that I gave you a good look at it in my bonus footage right there. There's another cabinet that opens up. It's kind of, again, a triangular shape, but it wouldn't be bad for a wastebasket. So there's a couple different things you could do here. I also really like and really appreciate all the countertop space they have in here. But that rear double closet, double pantry area, that is awesome. It's right by the door. And you see that it could be hanging storage. It could be a pantry. It could be whatever you want it to be, which almost sounds like an ad for being in the Army. You know what I mean? But the thing there is it lets you customize how this RV is going to operate to best fit you and your idea of camping. And really, you can almost change on the fly. If you need a little more hanging storage or something like that on a trip, if you need a little more dry storage, you could. I will say this. Part of me wonders if maybe they shouldn't have repurposed some of that for the bathroom, even though the bathroom has its own storage space, because it may have allowed them to move away from a radius shower that we're going to see that I know some people don't like. But at the same time, if they did try to bring the bathroom over, it might make this entry area very tight. So now that I say that, maybe it wouldn't be a good idea. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk some structure stuff. The roof, the walls are aluminum framed, laminated. The only thing in this RV really that's not laminated is the floor. That's a tongue and groove plywood floor decking, so they don't develop any kind of soft spots there. So once again, there is some good smart content that goes into this. But if you look at North Trails, some of their price points are not too much above a conventional stick and tin camper. Oh, refrigerator. Let's talk about this. What we're looking at here today on a Western built model is an 8 cubic foot gas electric two-way fridge, because boondocking is ultra popular in the western areas of our country. In the Midwest, Indiana production, that will be a 12 volt DC compressor fridge. To my knowledge, they don't offer optional fridges. They just use a different fridge, Eastern versus Western production. And in both cases, solar packages are optional, but they do this interesting thing where they make their RVs solar ready, not solar prepped. And the difference there is they already run the wiring and the charge controller. It's just literally plug and play in the case of a North Trail. Well, actually, a lot of your Heartland products do that, and their subsidiaries like Cruiser RV. Down below here, the toilet space is fairly fluffy friendly. I was not disappointed with that whatsoever. The storage behind it as well is yet another really nice thing to kind of pick up right here. Having all that extra like towel storage, linen storage, toiletry storage right here in the bathroom is a super, super handy thing. It's a radius shower though, which some people don't like. And it's a 6.5 foot sidewall plus a miniature barreled ceiling. And my peach fuzz with shoes on in the shower was just touching the framework of the skylight. But the fact is, I fit. So I was not, terribly displeased with that by any stretch of the imagination. Some folks, though, depending on your size and stature, you may not like the elbow room that you get in a shower like this. So experienced RVers, people who have had a radius shower, what is your experience with it? And I guess the major question, if an RV had a radius shower, would you buy one with a radius shower again? If you could leave a note as an experienced owner for the class, I think that would be awesome. In the meantime, let's close her up for road mode. Yeehaw. And I am potentially pleasantly surprised here. I fully expected with that dinette and countertop interaction that it would be cut off. But it occurs to me, once again, they're not using the deepest U-dinette out there, so that might actually be allowing, yeah. Now you're going to do a sideways travel trailer two-step, but some folks are going to find their way, you could wiggle worm your way through there to get up to the bed. For some folks, that will not work. For others, it might. That's why I take the time to close these things up for road mode to give you an idea. Now, something that will also open that space up a little bit is when you're traveling down the road, it's really not recommended that you leave the table in the up position like this, because if it rocks hard enough, it could actually crack the plastic bases at the bottom, fall down, gash into your cabinetry. That would be a bad day. That's not the way you want to start your RV vacation, is by finding out that your RV is busted, Now, with the slide closed, obviously getting to the refrigerator, to the kitchen is no problem, and getting to the bathroom is also absolutely a no problem. I'm not going to call it A plus Cracker Barrel access because the bed area is still a little bit tight, but I might give it a B plus because I do think that it's pretty close and it does have some serious potential there. Now, once again, the weights and the measures on this, in my opinion, register as very reasonably half-ton towable. They, it's not too long, it's not too heavy. Even with cargo, it should very nicely fit within the realm of late model tow package half-ton capability. There's, good and bad things to every RV. So let's peel this onion apart. What are we looking at here? Let's kind of start by the door and wrap our way around. The awning space on this is as good as it could be, given the size of the baggage door and how it interacts with the awning arm. They couldn't extend the awning forward, and the awning goes all the way to the back. So they did the best there they could. I can't knock them for that. They did pick up a couple campside windows where they had the opportunity. That's cool. I don't love outside speakers being mounted up fairly high, but that's just my opinion, man, kind of like the dude would say. Big entry handles, a nice little detail there. We've also got the stable steps taking some of the herky-jerkiness out of the entry-exit experience. Some folks don't like those, though, for a variety of reasons, like they feel that it may either flip dirt into the RV or on some, like if you're not park camping, they could be kind of uneven, and some folks don't love that, so just trying to be fair again with the feedback. Your wide stance stability axles, now those are import tires, so kind of keep that in mind right there, but the wide stance stability axles, one of the cool things with those is they're going to take a lot of the bumpy jumpiness out of the towing experience, and the idea there being to, just make getting there a little bit more comfortable, more enjoyable. Now, power awning, power tongue jack, power corner stabilizers as well. So everything out here is really just push button, simple and easy. And one of the things you can't see is that directly under the fiberglass skin, they are using Asdel in your sidewalls. That's a composite material. So most of the RV does still use a wood panel, but the your sidewall paneling, once again, where you'd have the greatest likelihood of weather exposure, that is an enhanced material, a composite material. Now up front here, one of the kind of cool things that's going on is they have the vault, which if you're familiar with, say, like the Gigi box from some of my other videos on like Keystone subsidiary stuff, it's essentially the exact same thing, where it's just a battery disconnect system on steroids, and it eliminates parasitic load. What's cool is if you apply one of the two optional solar packages of this, even when I have the vault disengaging, the solar package is still charging your battery, or in this case, the battery box that one of my local Idaho folks, Mr. Blaine, was kind enough to let me borrow to get you this footage. So maybe drop Mr. Blaine a little note, says, hey, thanks, Mr. Blaine. And if you can somehow type it in exactly that weird tone of voice, that would be really, really fun. Now, I wanted to leave this closed to demonstrate how you do have slam latches on your pass-through doors on both sides, along with magnet holdbacks for just kind of easy access. And that is just it's like over 67 cubic foot of storage up in here. Now, up in that corner, that's where you have things like your solar disconnect, separate from your chassis battery disconnect, TPMS prep, so it's just a plug-and-play system, and your solar charge controller, all located in that area there. I also do like that they give us lighting on both sides of that pass-through. That's just a nice little detail touch there. Now, backing up a little bit, folks have been asking more often what type of slide system is equipped on this RV. This is a Norco AccuSlide system. A bunch of people have a bunch of different opinions on a bunch of different slide systems. I've got a whole video dedicated to the most common slide systems you find in towable RVs. If you're curious, leave me a note and I'll see if I can dig that up and shoot it over to you in case you don't know the advantages and drawbacks of all of them. Now, jumping over to the backside here, it is a single sewer outlet. Speaking of the backside. All of our kitchen and bathroom and everything all exhausts out of that one centralized point there. And I like where all the hookups are located. This makes sense to me. Your black flush, your outside shower, your water hookup, your power, everything is in the back corner. To me, that is the best, most logical location for something like that. Now, if you look in the upper left corner of the RV, you see that black strip sitting there. This is prepped and ready for one of those telescopic removable ladders that you could pick up, probably either out of our shop, over on Amazon, whatever the case may be. It does have a walkable roof, but like a lot of RVs, It doesn't seem to include a ladder from the factory. I would be curious, which type of ladder do you prefer? Built on, which is usually 250-pound rated, or telescopic removable, which is 330-pound rated. They each have advantages, they each have drawbacks, kind of like the different slide systems. Now, in a concept like this, they are definitely not the only one building something like this. Like, offhand, I can think of like Cougar, Eagle, Rockwood, Heritage Glen, Hemisphere. A bunch of builders build a layout like this. Surveyor makes a really good one. I will dig up all the links to other videos of floor plans like this that I can think of. I'll leave them in the video description, along with a link to check for pricing and availability on one of these, whether you're curious or whether you're serious, and let me know which one you would go with and why. Short of that, thanks again for tuning in. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.